The stars outside the viewing window looked peaceful as Captain Hyundai stood on the bridge of the New Seoul. His ship moved slowly through space toward Kepler Station. The station was huge, with metal arms reaching out like a giant flower made of steel. Ships from many different worlds docked there every day. "Captain, we will reach the station in 1 hour," said Lieutenant J. Kim. He stood straight and tall, his uniform clean and pressed. Jay had been a soldier before joining the research ship. Now he kept everyone safe while they studied space and made friends with aliens. Hyundai nodded. "Good. Tell Dr. Park to get ready for the meeting." Dr. Yuna Park was already busy in her lab. She looked at her notes about the different alien species they would meet. She had been studying aliens for 10 years. Her 2 children were at school on the ship. The New Seoul was not just a research ship. It was also home to many families. The ship had been traveling for 3 weeks to reach this meeting. 30 years ago, humans first met aliens. Since then, they had joined something called the Galactic Coalition. 12 different alien species worked together to trade goods and share knowledge. Humans were the newest members, but they had made many friends. "Mom, can I go see the aliens today?" asked 8-year-old Mina Choi. She ran into her mother's quarters with her school bag bouncing on her back. Her mother was an engineer who helped fix the ship's machines. "Maybe later, sweetie. First, let the grown-ups finish their work," her mother said with a smile. Mina was excited. She had seen pictures of aliens but never met one in person. Her teacher said they would meet some today. The ship carried 43 children. They all learned about different worlds and species in school. The New Seoul finally reached Kepler Station. The station was beautiful. Lights blinked in patterns that meant welcome in many alien languages. Ships from different worlds floated nearby. Some ships looked like giant fish. Others looked like metal trees or crystal flowers. "This is amazing," whispered Mina as she pressed her face against a window. Captain Hyundai walked through the station's halls with his team. The walls were covered with symbols from different worlds. The air smelled like flowers and something else he could not name. Aliens walked everywhere. Some looked like tall birds with colorful feathers. Others looked like walking rocks with glowing eyes. "The Zenthari delegation is waiting in Hall 7, said J. Kim, reading from his tablet. The Zenthari were one of humanity's closest friends in the coalition. They looked like humans but had blue skin and big black eyes. They loved to learn and share stories, but not all aliens liked humans. The Vorthak were different. They looked like giant lizards that walked on 2 legs. They had sharp teeth and cold yellow eyes. They thought humans were weak because humans cared so much about their families. "Look at them," said War Commander Thakis, the leader of the Vorthak group. He pointed at human families walking through the station. "They bring their young to dangerous places. They are too soft to survive in space." His soldiers nodded. They did not understand why humans brought children on spaceships. Vorthak children stayed on their homeworld until they were old enough to fight. The meeting room was large and round. Representatives from all 12 species sat in a circle. Captain Hyundai spoke for the humans. He talked about new trade agreements and shared research projects. "Humans have much to offer," said Ambassador Kin of the Zenthari. "Their medical knowledge has saved many lives." War Commander Thax made a noise like an angry snake. "They are still new. They do not understand the real dangers of space." "We have survived and grown for 30 years, said Hyundai calmly. "We learn from our friends and share what we know." During a break, something wonderful happened. Mina Choi met a young Zenthari named Aris. Aris was 9 years old and had come with his parents to see the station. The 2 children could not speak each other's languages very well, but they did not need words to become friends. They played with a ball made of light that Aris had brought from his home world. They laughed when the ball changed colors. Other children from different species joined them. Soon, a group of young beings from 5 different worlds were playing together. Dr. Yuna Park watched them with tears in her eyes. "This is why we came to space," she told her husband. "So our children could grow up knowing they are not alone." But the Vorthak soldiers watched with disgust. "Their young are weak," one soldier said to another. "They play instead of learning to fight." "Humans will never last long in space if they stay so soft," agreed the second soldier. War Commander Thax overheard them. A plan began to form in his mind. He had been looking for a way to prove that humans did not belong in the coalition. Perhaps their weakness could be used against them. The first day of meetings ended well. New trade agreements were signed. Plans were made for shared research. The Xanthari invited human children to visit their homeworld. Everyone seemed happy except the Vorthak. That night, families ate dinner together in the station's big dining hall. Humans sat with their new alien friends. Stories were shared. Children laughed. It looked like a perfect example of peace between different species. Mina Choi fell asleep in her bed that night, excited about playing with Eris again tomorrow. She dreamed of visiting strange new worlds and making friends with creatures she had never imagined. Captain Hyun-dae stood on his ship's bridge, looking out at the stars. Lieutenant Jae Kim joined him. "The meetings went well today, Captain." "Yes," Hyun-dae agreed. 30 years of peace. Sometimes I forget that not everyone wants the same things we do. Neither man knew that in a few hours everything would change. The peace they had worked so hard to build was about to be tested in a way no one could have imagined. The Vorthak war commander sat in his quarters, planning something terrible. He believed that showing human weakness would make the coalition see that humans did not deserve their place among the stars. He was about to make the biggest mistake in galactic history. Tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow, the galaxy would learn what happened when someone threatened a human child. The second day of meetings started badly. War Commander Thax arrived angry. He slammed his clawed hand on the table during the morning session. "Humans take too much space," he growled. "Your ships appear in systems that belong to stronger species." Captain Hyun-dae stayed calm. "We follow all coalition laws. We only go where we are invited." "Your laws are weak," Thax replied. His yellow eyes looked cold and mean. "The strong should rule space, not the soft." Dr. Yuna Park watched from her seat. She had seen this kind of behavior before. Some species believed that being cruel made them powerful. She felt worried but tried not to show it. The Xanthari ambassador tried to keep peace. "We are all here to work together. There is room in space for everyone." But Thax would not listen. "Some species are not meant for space. They should stay on their homeworlds where it is safe." The meeting broke for lunch. Everyone was tired from the arguing. Children from different ships went to play in the station's garden area. It was a big room with plants and trees from many worlds. Mina Choi walked through the halls with her friend Aris, the young Xanthari. They were going to meet other children at the garden. Mina carried a small bag with her lunch and some toys to share. "Will you show me your homeworld pictures again?" asked Aris in his careful human words. "Yes. And you can tell me more about the singing flowers," Mina replied with a big smile. They did not see the 3 Vorthak soldiers following them. The soldiers had been ordered by War Commander Thax to send a message to the humans. The soldiers thought this meant scaring some humans to show them they were not safe in space. The corridor they walked through was long and quiet. Most adults were still in meetings or eating lunch. The soldiers moved closer to the 2 children. "Go back to your ship, Xanthari," the biggest soldier said to Aris. His voice was rough and scary. "This does not concern your kind." Aris looked confused and frightened. He did not understand what was happening. Mina stepped closer to her friend. "We are just going to play," she said. Her voice was small but brave. "We are not bothering anyone," the soldier laughed. It was not a nice laugh. "Human children should not walk alone in space. It is dangerous." "My mom said the station is safe," Mina replied. She was starting to feel scared but did not want to show it. "Your mother was wrong," said the second soldier. He was smaller but looked meaner. "Space is not safe for weak things," Aris tried to help. "I will call for my parents," he said, reaching for his communication device. The third soldier knocked the device from his hand. It broke when it hit the floor. No calling for help. This is a lesson your kind needs to learn. What happened next was terrible. The soldiers did not just scare the children. They hurt Mina to prove their point. They wanted to show that humans could not protect their young ones. They thought this would make humans look weak and scared. Eris screamed for help, but the corridor was far from the main areas. The soldiers left Mina on the floor, hurt and barely moving. They walked away like nothing had happened. "Remember this, little blue one," the biggest soldier told Eris. "Tell everyone what happens to humans who think they belong in space." Eris stayed with Mina, crying and trying to help her. He did not know what to do. Blood came from cuts on her head and arms. She was not moving much and her breathing was very quiet. Dr. Yuna Park found them 20 minutes later. She had come looking when Mina did not arrive at the garden for lunch. When she saw her young friend lying hurt on the floor, she screamed, "Get medical help, now!" she shouted to Eris, who was still crying. She knelt down next to Mina and checked her pulse. It was weak but still there. The station's medical team arrived quickly. They were good doctors from different species who worked together. They carefully moved Mina to the medical center while Dr. Park held her hand. "What happened?" asked Dr. Kesh, the head medical officer. She looked like a tall cat with silver fur. Eris told them about the 3 Vorthak soldiers. His words came out between sobs, but the story was clear. The security team checked the station's cameras and found recordings of the attack. Captain Hyun Dae arrived at the medical center as fast as he could. When he saw Mina lying on the medical bed, something changed in his face. His hands began to shake, but not from fear. Lieutenant Jae Kim had never seen his captain look like this before. "How bad is it?" Hyun Dae asked the doctors. "She will live," Dr. Kesh replied. "But she has a serious head injury and broken bones. She will need surgery and weeks of healing." Hyun Dae stood very still for a long moment. Then he spoke in a voice that was quiet but somehow more frightening than shouting. "Lieutenant Kim, send a message to Earth Command immediately." "What should I tell them, Captain?" Hyun Dae looked down at Mina, then back at his security officer. "Tell them the children are no longer safe." Word of the attack spread quickly through the station. Human families gathered together, holding their children close. The other species felt shocked and confused. No one had ever attacked a child before in Coalition space. The Xanthari were angry and sad. Ambassador Kin demanded that the Vorthak soldiers be arrested immediately, but War Commander Thax refused to give them up. "They did nothing wrong," he said. "They showed the human child that space is dangerous. Maybe now humans will keep their weak young ones at home." Dr. Yuna Park sat next to Mina's bed, watching the machines that helped her breathe. Other human parents came to support her. No one spoke much. They just sat together thinking about what this meant. Lieutenant Jae Kim worked at his computer, sending encoded messages to Earth and other human ships. He moved quickly and quietly like he was preparing for something big. Captain Hyun Dae called an emergency meeting with all the species representatives. When he entered the room, everyone could see that something had changed about him. He looked calm, but there was something dangerous in his eyes. 30 years ago, humanity joined this coalition in peace, he began. His voice was steady and cold. "We brought our knowledge, our friendship, and our trust. We asked for only one thing in return." He paused and looked directly at War Commander Thax. "We asked that our children be safe." The room was very quiet. Even the Vorthak soldiers stood still. Today, that trust has been broken. A human child lies fighting for her life because someone wanted to send a message about strength and weakness. Thax spoke up. "One small injury is not important. The child will heal. Perhaps this will teach humans to be more careful." Captain Hyun Dae smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "Commander Thax, you have made a very serious mistake. You have forgotten something important about humans." "What is that?" Thax asked with a laugh. "We did not join the coalition because we needed protection," Hyun Dae replied. "We joined to protect everyone else from what we become when our children are threatened." The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Even the other alien species felt something change in the air around the human captain. News of Mina's attack spread across space faster than anyone expected. Every human ship within 3 star systems received the message within 6 hours. What happened next surprised all the alien species. The humans did not panic. They did not cry or shout for revenge. Instead, they became very quiet and very calm. This worried the aliens more than screaming would have. On the new Sol, Lieutenant Jae Kim worked at his computer station. His fingers moved quickly across the keys, sending coded messages to other human ships. Captain Hyun Dae stood behind him, reading each message before it was sent. "All security teams are responding, Captain," Jae Kim reported. "They want to know what orders you have for them." "Tell them to prepare," Hyun Dae replied. "Full readiness protocols, but no action yet." Dr. Yuna Park stayed in the medical center with Mina. The little girl was still unconscious, but the doctors said she was getting stronger. Other human parents came to visit, bringing flowers and small gifts. "She looks so small," whispered Mrs. Han, whose son was in Mina's class. "Children should never have to face such cruelty," added Mr. Lee, holding his daughter's hand tightly. The Xanthari felt terrible about what happened. Ambassador Kin visited Mina every day, bringing healing crystals from his home world. Young Eris blamed himself for not protecting his friend. "I should have done something," he told his parents with tears in his big black eyes. "You are just a child," his mother replied gently. This was not your fault. The bad soldiers are the ones to blame. But the Vorthak showed no regret. War Commander Thax walked through the station like he owned it. His soldiers followed behind him, proud of what they had done. See how quiet the humans have become, Thax told his second-in-command. They know they cannot challenge us. Soon they will leave Coalition space and return to their small world. Other alien species were not so sure. The Krillian ambassador, who looked like a wise old tree, spoke to his aide. I have studied humans for many years, he said in his slow, deep voice. Quiet humans are more dangerous than angry ones. When they stop talking, they start planning. Captain Hyundai requested an emergency session of the full Coalition Council. Representatives from all 12 species gathered in the Great Assembly Hall. The room was huge, with seats arranged in a circle so everyone could see each other. Hyundai walked to the center of the circle. He carried no weapons, no notes, nothing but a small picture of Mina smiling. He placed it on the central table where everyone could see it. Honored representatives, he began, his voice carrying clearly through the hall. I stand before you today to discuss a broken promise. The alien delegates listened carefully. Some had heard about the attack, but others were just learning the details. 30 years ago, when humanity first met your peoples, we were amazed. We discovered we were not alone in the universe. We found friends, teachers, and partners among the stars. He paused and looked at each group of delegates. We brought gifts to this friendship. Our medical knowledge has saved thousands of lives across 12 worlds. Our engineering skills have built stations and ships that serve us all. Our art and music have brought joy to many species. Murmurs of agreement came from most of the delegates. Humans had indeed contributed much to the coalition. But most importantly, we brought our trust. We brought our children into space, into your stations and your worlds, because we believed they would be safe with you. The picture of Mina seemed to glow under the hall's lights. Yesterday, that trust was betrayed. A human child was deliberately attacked by soldiers who wanted to prove that humans are weak. They wanted to show that we do not belong among the stars. War Commander Thax stood up from his seat. The child was hurt accidentally during a lesson about space safety. Humans must learn that space is dangerous for their young. A cold silence filled the hall. Captain Hyundai did not look angry. He looked disappointed, which somehow seemed worse. Commander Thax, your security cameras recorded the entire attack. There was nothing accidental about it. Your soldiers planned to hurt a child to send a message. The Zenthari ambassador spoke up. We have seen the recordings. This was a deliberate act of cruelty against an innocent being. Other species began to nod in agreement. Even those who were neutral felt disturbed by the attack on a child. Thax's voice got louder. One small human child means nothing. The strong survive in space, not the weak. If humans cannot protect their young, they should not bring them here. The temperature in the hall seemed to drop several degrees. Captain Hyundai picked up Mina's picture and looked at it for a long moment. Commander, you have made several mistakes in your thinking. The first is believing that caring for our children makes us weak. The second is thinking that one human child means nothing. He put the picture back on the table and looked directly at Thax. The third mistake is the biggest one. You think we brought our children into space because we cannot protect them on Earth? Hyundai's voice became very quiet, but somehow everyone in the hall could hear every word. We brought our children into space to protect you from what we become when they are threatened. Confused whispers filled the hall. The alien delegates did not understand what he meant. For 30 years, we have shown you one side of humanity. We have been explorers, scientists, artists, and friends. We have been peaceful because our children were safe and happy. Lieutenant J. Kim entered the hall and walked to his captain's side. He whispered something in Hyundai's ear, then handed him a small device. I have just received word from Earth Command, Hyundai announced. Every human military ship in this galaxy has been placed on high alert, not because we plan to attack anyone, but because the safety of human children is now in question. He pressed a button on the device. A holographic display appeared above the table, showing a map of local space. Red dots appeared throughout the display. These represent human vessels that you were not aware existed, ships that have been quietly patrolling Coalition space for 30 years, making sure the peace was kept. The number of red dots was staggering. There were hundreds of them, far more than anyone had imagined. We never told you about them because we hoped we would never need them. We wanted to be friends, not guards. But that choice has been taken away from us. War Commander Thax stared at the display. His yellow eyes grew wide as he counted the ships. There were more human vessels than all the Vorthak fleet combined. "This is impossible," he whispered. "Our intelligence showed only civilian ships." Captain Hyundai smiled sadly. "Commander, did you really think a species that conquered their own world would send their children into space without protection? Every human research ship, every civilian transport, every trade vessel has been designed to defend itself and others if needed." The other alien delegates began to understand what they were seeing. Humanity had not joined the coalition as helpless newcomers seeking protection. They had joined as protectors pretending to be civilians. "I want to be very clear about what happens next," Hyundai continued. "We are giving the Vorthak government one chance to hand over the 3 soldiers who attacked our child. They will face human justice for their crime. And if we refuse?" Thax asked, though his voice was no longer confident. "Then you will discover why human children are the most protected beings in this galaxy. You will learn what happens when someone threatens what we love most." The hall was completely silent now. Even the air recycling system seemed to whisper. "This is your only warning. Choose wisely, Commander Thax. The next time we meet, it will not be for talking." Captain Hyundai picked up Mina's picture and walked out of the hall. Lieutenant J. Kim followed him, leaving the alien delegates to stare at the holographic display of human ships. The red dots seemed to pulse like angry heartbeats, reminding everyone that humanity's true nature was about to be revealed. War Commander Thax made his choice quickly. Within 2 hours of Captain Hyundai's warning, he sent his answer to the Coalition Council. "The Vorthak Empire does not bow to human threats," his message said. "Our soldiers acted within their rights to show inferior species their place. We will not surrender them to soft human justice." But Thax did not stop there. He made his biggest mistake yet. "To prove that humans are too weak for space, I am ordering all human civilians to leave Vorthak territory within 48 hours. Any human ships that remain will be considered hostile and destroyed." When Captain Hyundai received this message, he read it twice. Then he handed it to Lieutenant J. Kim without saying a word. J. Kim read the message and felt his blood turn cold. "Captain, he just threatened every human in 3-star systems." "Yes," Hyundai replied calmly. "He did." The captain walked to his communication station and opened a channel to Earth Command. The face of Admiral Song appeared on the screen. She was an older woman with gray hair and eyes that had seen many battles. "Captain Day, I assume you have received the Vorthak response?" "Yes, Admiral. They have refused to surrender the soldiers who attacked our child. They have also threatened to destroy civilian ships." Admiral Song nodded slowly. "Then they have made their choice. Authorization code Alpha 77 is now active. You know what to do." The screen went dark. Lieutenant J. Kim had never heard that authorization code before, but he understood its meaning from his captain's expression. "Sir, what are your orders?" Captain Hyundai looked out at the stars. "Signal all human vessels in the area. Code 77 is active. It is time to stop pretending." Across 3 star systems, human ships received the same signal. Ships that had looked like peaceful research vessels began to change. Metal panels slid away to reveal weapon systems. Cargo bays opened to show fighter spacecraft. Trade ships transformed into battleships. The new Sol underwent the most dramatic change of all. The ship's outer hull split open like a flower, revealing advanced weaponry that no alien species had ever seen. The comfortable family quarters became command centers. The children's playground was sealed away behind armor plating. Dr. Yuna Park watched this transformation from the medical center. She held Mina's hand as the little girl finally woke up from her long sleep. "Mom," Mina whispered. "What happened?" "Where am I?" "You are safe now, sweetheart," Dr. Park replied with tears in her eyes. "Some bad people hurt you, but you are getting better." "Are Eris and the other children okay?" "Yes, they are all safe, and they are going to stay safe." Through the medical center's window, Dr. Park could see human soldiers moving through the station's corridors. These were not the friendly security officers from before. These were professional warriors with advanced armor and weapons. The alien delegates watched in amazement and fear as humans throughout the station revealed their true nature. Scientists removed their lab coats to show military uniforms underneath. Engineers became weapons specialists. Teachers turned into tactical officers. Ambassador Kin of the Zenthari found Captain Hyundai on the New Sol's bridge. The ship's command center now looked like something from a military vessel, not a research ship. "Captain, what is happening? Your ship, your people, they are not what they seemed." Hyundai turned from his tactical display. "Ambassador, we are exactly what we have always been. We are humans protecting our children. You are only now seeing what that truly means. But for 30 years you seemed so peaceful. We were peaceful because we chose to be. Because our children were safe and happy. That choice has been taken from us. On the main screen, 3 Vorthak soldiers appeared. They were the ones who had attacked Mina. They sat in a detention cell on their home ship, probably thinking they were safe from human justice. Lieutenant Kim, show me their location. The display changed to show the Vorthak military ship where the 3 soldiers were being hidden. It was a large warship with heavy weapons and thick armor. It was surrounded by 6 other Vorthak vessels for protection. Sir, that is a significant force. Their flagship alone has more firepower than most coalition ships. Captain Hyundai smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Lieutenant, show me our response. The screen split to show multiple views. Human ships appeared from nowhere, surrounding the Vorthak fleet. They had been invisible until this moment, using technology that the aliens had never seen before. How is this possible? Ambassador Kin whispered. We learned long ago that the best weapon is the one your enemy does not know exists, Hyundai replied. The Vorthak fleet tried to escape, but they found themselves trapped. Every direction they turned, more human ships appeared. The Vorthak had brought 7 ships to the fight. The humans had brought 43. War Commander Thax appeared on the communication screen. His face showed fear for the first time. This is impossible. Our sensors showed no human ships in this area. Commander, your sensors were designed to detect the kinds of ships you understand, Captain Hyundai replied. You have never understood humans. What do you want? Thax demanded. The 3 soldiers who attacked our child. Surrender them now and your fleet will be allowed to leave. Never. They are under my protection. Captain Hyundai sighed. Then you have chosen the hard way. What happened next amazed every alien species watching. The human ships did not attack the Vorthak fleet with massive weapons. Instead, they used surgical precision. Small human fighters, invisible to Vorthak sensors, flew through the enemy fleet like ghosts. They disabled weapon systems without destroying ships. They cut through armor plating like it was paper. Within 10 minutes, the entire Vorthak fleet was helpless. Impossible, Thax gasped. Our shields should have stopped any attack. Your shields are designed to stop the weapons you know about, Lieutenant J. Kim explained. Human technology has been advancing for 30 years. We simply chose not to use it until now. The human boarding teams moved through the Vorthak ships like they had detailed maps. They knew exactly where to go and what to do. Security systems that should have stopped any intruder were bypassed easily. Within 1 hour, the 3 soldiers who had attacked Mina were captured and brought to the New Sol. They looked terrified as human Marines escorted them to holding cells. How? War Commander Thax asked. How did you learn so much about our ships? Captain Hyundai's answer chilled every alien listening. Commander, did you think we spent 30 years just making friends? Every ship we visited, every station we docked at, every system we explored, we learned. We studied. We prepared. Prepared for what? For the day someone threatened our children. The other coalition species watched in silence as human ships throughout the galaxy began revealing their true capabilities. Research vessels became destroyers. Trade ships turned into carriers. Exploration craft showed weapons that could crack planets. We gave you 30 years of peace, Captain Hyundai announced to the Coalition Council. We shared our knowledge, our culture, our friendship. We asked only that our children be safe. He looked directly at the camera that would broadcast his words to every species in the Coalition. That compact has been broken. The soldiers who attacked our child are now in human custody, but this is bigger than 3 soldiers. This is about the safety of every human child in space. The display behind him showed human fleets moving throughout Coalition space, not to attack but to position themselves as protectors. From this day forward, any harm to a human child will be considered an act of war against all of humanity. We will respond with the full force of our military capabilities. Ambassador Kin found his voice. Captain, we had no idea humans possessed such power. We hoped you would never need to know. Hyundai replied sadly. We wanted to be explorers and friends. But if we must be guardians and soldiers to protect our children, then that is what we will become. The communication channel closed, leaving the alien delegates in stunned silence. The peaceful humans they had known for 30 years were gone. In their place stood something far more dangerous, protective parents with the power to enforce their protection. In the medical center, Little Mina squeezed her mother's hand. Mom, why is everyone so quiet? Because, sweetheart, the galaxy just learned what happens when someone hurts a human child. 3 days after the capture of the Vorthak soldiers, a special tribunal was held on Kepler Station. Representatives from all coalition species came to witness human justice in action. They were curious and nervous about what humans would do to those who had hurt their child. The 3 Vorthak soldiers stood in a clear containment field. They looked smaller now without their weapons and armor. The biggest soldier, who had led the attack on Mina, tried to stand proud, but his yellow eyes showed fear. Captain Hyundai entered the tribunal chamber wearing a formal uniform that no alien had ever seen before. It was black with silver markings that seemed to shift in the light. Behind him walked 5 other humans, also in similar uniforms. "You are the human judges?" asked the Krillian ambassador in his deep, tree-like voice. "We are," replied Captain Hyundai. "When our children are harmed, we do not trust others to decide justice." Dr. Yuna Park sat in the front row holding Mina's hand. The little girl was much better now, though she still had bandages on her head. She wanted to see what would happen to the soldiers who had hurt her. "Is this scary, Mom?" Mina whispered. "No, sweetheart. This is justice. These people need to understand what they did wrong." The trial began with the security recordings of the attack. Every alien in the chamber watched as the 3 soldiers deliberately hurt an innocent child. Many of the alien observers made sounds of disgust and anger. When the recording ended, Captain Hyundai spoke to the 3 soldiers. "You attacked a human child to prove that humans are weak. You wanted to show that we do not belong in space. Do you admit to this crime?" The biggest soldier tried to sound brave. "We did what was necessary to show the truth. Humans are too soft for space. Your children prove it?" The second soldier nodded. "We regret nothing. The strong must teach the weak their place." Only the third soldier looked ashamed. I followed orders, but I know what we did was wrong." Captain Hyundai studied each of them carefully. "You believe that hurting children makes you strong. You think that cruelty proves power. You are about to learn how wrong you are." The alien delegates leaned forward, expecting to see the soldiers executed or tortured. Instead, what happened surprised everyone. "Your punishment is this," Captain Hyundai announced. "You will be stripped of your names, your ranks, and your honor. You will be marked as child harmers and returned to your home world. Your own people will know what you have done." War Commander Thax, who was watching by video link, looked confused. "That is all? No death? No torture?" "Commander, you still do not understand humans," Captain Hyundai replied. "We do not become monsters to fight monsters, but we ensure that monsters can never hurt our children again." The 3 soldiers were processed according to human law. Their military records were destroyed. Their names were removed from all official documents. They would return to their homeworld as nameless beings known only for their shame. But Captain Hyundai was not finished with War Commander Thax. "Commander, you ordered this attack. You refused to surrender the soldiers. You threatened civilian ships. Your punishment is different." Thax tried to look defiant. "I am a war commander. I do not fear human justice." "You should," Captain Hyundai replied calmly. "From this moment you are banned from all coalition space. Any ship you command will be turned away from every station, every world, every trade route. You wanted to prove humans are weak. Instead, you have proven yourself unfit to lead." The other coalition species quickly agreed to this punishment. Even the Vorthak's traditional allies wanted nothing to do with someone who attacked children. But the real change was yet to come. Admiral Song arrived from Earth 3 days later. She called a meeting of the full Coalition Council to discuss new security arrangements. "The attack on the human child has shown us that our children are not safe under current protection," she announced. "Therefore, humanity is implementing new security protocols." A holographic display showed the deployment of human ships throughout Coalition space. They would patrol trade routes, guard stations, and protect civilian vessels from all species. These ships will ensure that no child of any species is ever harmed again. Admiral Song continued, "Human forces will respond to any threat against the young, regardless of which species they belong to." Ambassador Qin spoke for many of the delegates. "This means humans will become the protectors of all Coalition children?" "Yes," Admiral Song replied. "We have learned that we cannot trust others to value young lives as much as we do. Some species objected, but their complaints were ignored. The human ships were already in position. There was nothing anyone could do to stop them. Back on Kepler Station, life slowly returned to normal, but nothing was really the same. Human security officers patrolled every corridor, making sure children could play safely. The officers were polite but alert, always watching for threats. Mina returned to the station's garden area where she had been attacked. This time, 6 human guards watched over the playing children. Aris was waiting for her with a flower made of colored light. "I was scared you would not come back," he said in his careful human words. "My mom said I should not let bad people make me afraid," Mina replied. "Besides, we have friends to protect us now." She pointed to the human guards. They smiled and waved at the children, but their eyes never stopped scanning for danger. Dr. Una Park watched from nearby, talking with other parents from different species. "Your people have changed everything," said a Zenthari mother. "My children feel safer now than ever before." "All children deserve to feel safe," Dr. Park replied. "That is something every parent understands." The Krillian father, whose bark-like skin showed his age, spoke slowly. "We did not know humans were capable of such protection. Your ships, your weapons, your soldiers, Gwynra, where did they all come from?" Dr. Park smiled sadly. "They were always there. We just hoped we would never need to use them." War Commander Thak sent one final message to the Coalition Council. He was leaving Vorthak space, exiled by his own people for bringing human wrath upon them. "You have not seen the last of me," his message warned. "Someday, humans will face a real threat, and your softness will destroy you." Captain Hyundai read the message and deleted it without reply. Lieutenant J. Kim stood beside him on the bridge of the New Sol. "Do you think he will try something else, Captain?" "Perhaps," Hyundai replied. "But it will not matter. Why not, sir?" Captain Hyundai looked out at the stars, where human ships now patrolled every trade route and protected every station. "Because the galaxy now knows what happens when someone threatens a human child. That knowledge will protect every child of every species." The New Sol continued its mission, but now it traveled with a full escort of warships. In the ship's school, human children learned alongside young aliens, all of them safe under the protection of the most powerful military force in the galaxy. Mina Choi sat in her classroom, drawing pictures of spaceships and stars. Her teacher asked what she wanted to be when she grew up. "I want to be like my mom," Mina said. "I want to help people and make friends with aliens." "That sounds wonderful," her teacher replied. "Are you still scared after what happened?" Mina thought for a moment, then shook her head. "No, my parents told me that humans protect children. All children everywhere. Bad people cannot hurt us anymore." Through the classroom window, she could see human patrol ships moving among the stars like guardian angels. The galaxy had learned its lesson about threatening human children. The price of that lesson would be remembered for generations to come. Captain Hyun Day stood on his bridge one last time before the New Sol departed Kepler Station. He looked at the picture of Mina smiling that he still kept on his command console. Lieutenant J. Kim joined him. "Sir, do you think we did the right thing?" "We protected our children," Hyundai replied. "We ensured that no other child will suffer what Mina suffered." "Yes, Lieutenant, we did exactly the right thing." The New Sol jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind a galaxy that would never again mistake human kindness for human weakness. The message was clear and eternal. Hurt a human child and you will face the full fury of humanity. The stars themselves seemed to whisper the warning to anyone who might listen. "We warned them.